the West Indies play and looking down their list, they're a scary team to play against. When you got the likes of Pollard and Pooran, Andre Russell, those guys through the middle order, they just keep coming and they keep coming hard at you. And on their day, they can just blow anyone away. But I think the consistency of Hazlewood was really important. And that's something that's probably been the hallmark of his success, really. Having the ability to be able to back up with those best balls, just keep hitting, a really good hard length, and asking the batsman to play a big shot off a really good ball. And if there's any movement there or there's a bit of slowness in the pitch, it's not easy just to stand there and smash the ball out of the park, particularly if you've only been there a few balls. So, Hazlewood's been really important for Australia. His control and his consistency has really, given him a lot of success. And as you mentioned, I think he will be important, in the semi-final and from an Australian perspective, hopefully the final. But the West Indies, they're a scary team to play against because they've got so much power there. But I think, those early breakthroughs from Hazlewood were certainly put a bit of doubt in their mind. And so that middle order couldn't come out and just play with that freedom that makes them so dangerous. It was a good start from Hazlewood.
Yes, and then Zampa continues to do what he's been doing all tournament. He comes on in and around that 7th, 8th over mark and basically bowls his 4 overs straight. Takes a wicket or two, or previous night he took 5. But really at the same stage, his economy rate is good. So he brings the game into some sort of control for Australia. And again, he did that last night. I thought maybe the drop catch of Pollard might have been one of those moments that suddenly turned it back in West Indies' favour. At least Pollard kept going, made his 44. But and again, the other point last night was using Maxwell in the power play and then 3 overs of Marsh, which meant that the 4 overs went for about 22, which is a really good result for that 5th bowling option that Australia's struggling with a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that seems to be the selection dilemma for Australia is what do they do with that 5th bowling option? Do they get those 4 overs out of the likes of Marsh and Maxwell? Smith could even bowl an over here or there if need be. Or do they go Stoinis is another one as well. Or do they go for that 5th specialist bowling option? So that seems what they want to juggle. I think they've got it right. They've got a lot of balance in that team, and they've got the luxury of having the likes of Stoinis, Marsh, and Maxwell to bowl those handy overs. So that enables them to really lengthen their batting. And so I think the balance of the team is right. You talk about Zampa. He's just been incredible over the last couple of years. I think his control has really improved. The thing that stands out to me is he bowls a beautiful length at most of the time. It's not that length where a batsman can just step and hit sort of out of the park, but it's not that short of a length where you can get back and pull. And he's always really straight and attacking the stump. So he's going to be in the game. He's not a big turner of the ball, but his control is excellent. And he just does enough either way to keep himself in the game. And his confidence is sky high. He's getting the results. And he's been, a really important player for Australia, not just in this tournament, but for the last couple of years, in my opinion.
So right. And of course, in Australia, needing the win, but finished it off in fine style. It's very important, I guess, for Australia or any team that your top order is really firing, and certainly that's beginning to happen now with Finch and Warner beginning to get their old partnership together, and now inserting Marsh at 3 has really given them that sort of front end that they're looking for. And of course, Warner 89 off 56 and Marsh 53 off 32, 124 off 57 deliveries, just did the chase in a canter. So that they're good signs, I guess, coming into semi-finals.
Yeah, excellent signs. I think the situation of the game really helped that sort of top order. They're all 3 of those guys that you mentioned are really aggressive players and probably playing at their best when they are being aggressive. So obviously Australia wanted to chase down that target to win the game, but it was also very important for their net run rate to chase it down as quickly as they possibly could. So it did give them a real freedom to come out and be as aggressive as they possibly could. Once they got on a roll, they're really hard to stop. Important innings, I think, for Warner. His form's been a little bit up and down, and I think that'll do his confidence the world of good. And even for Mitch Marsh. everyone was talking about that he's going to be the number 3 player, come in and be really aggressive and play games. Suddenly they dropped him for a game, and it's like, well, where does that leave him in a mental sort of state? But he was able to come back in, in the last couple of games and continue to play in his sort of aggressive manner, which I think is really important. And they played beautifully. The West Indies, their attack looks not as strong as it used to be in the past. Their spinners. They're all good spinners, but they haven't got that mystery of a Narayan in there to really put some doubt and pick up those important wickets through those middle overs. So, they've got a bit of work to do, the West Indies. I think they're going to probably have to rebuild a little bit with some of those legends leaving from the game. But all in all, I thought it was a very, very professional run chase from the Australians. And, it was enough, obviously, to get through to the semi-finals. So I'm sure they'll be absolutely delighted.
Yes, no, I think so, and it sets themselves up nicely for the semi-finals. If results go according to plan, I think over the last couple of games, it would seem that Australia will end up playing Pakistan in one of the semi-finals, which will be an interesting contest with 2 old buddies, Justin Langer and great friends of yours, Justin Langer in the Australian camp and Matthew Hayden in the Pakistan camp. I'm sure they'll share a bit of a laugh and a bit of a barb here and there as they move into the game, and then the other side of the draw will be England and New Zealand. England losing to South Africa last night, a little bit of a crack has been shown because I thought they just looked like raging favourites. But nonetheless, New Zealand perennial semi-finalists, it would seem, in lots of tournaments. But I think they're in reasonably good shape this time round, so they may. They'll certainly take it up to England. Whether they can get past them, I don't know, but all to come, I guess. We've got some videos to have a look at here because we run a competition which asks viewers to send in their questions about the games that they've had and whether or not we can answer the questions or not, up to us. But we like to award the best question, and we have a terrific question from Adzguru Tripathi. And he's put together a couple of little videos for us to look at as well. So I thought we might share these first before we actually get into answering the questions. Now this is, testing my wonderful technological skills, which, here we go. So we're going to have a quick look at his, hopefully you can see and hear the action.
Yeah, I've got it.
Reasonably skillful little fellow there, isn't he? Hey, very, very good all round the game, and I like his little boomer action. Now, Let me see whether I can get to the other part of his show. This is Akshaj's questions.
Hello John sir, I am Akshay Tripathi from Dehradun, India. I think final will be played between Australia and Pakistan. My question to you is, what are the chances of India coming back in this World Cup? I also want to ask, when are you coming to India? I am so excited to meet you. Thank you, sir.
There we go. This is young Aksaj. So his questions for us, and again, you can make comment on his bowling, his batting, and his fielding if you like. But his questions were around. He believes it'll be an India-Pakistan final. Your thoughts there?
Well, firstly, I've got to say, Aksaj, serious skills there, and what a great backyard setup. That looks like a great sanctuary to be able to play your cricket. But it's amazing what kids pick up from watching TV, and perfect Bumrah action. I must admit, that was to the T. I thought it actually was Bumrah as a kid running in there. India-Pakistan final. Well, it's going to be tricky for India. I've got to be honest. They obviously need New Zealand to lose to Afghanistan, and obviously they've got to win to get through to the semi-finals. If they get through to the semi-finals, then I think they're going to be really dangerous, and they could definitely get, to the final and all the way. New Zealand versus Afghanistan. Now, New Zealand are a pretty darn good team. They're very disciplined, they're experienced, and they've been playing pretty well through this tournament. So, but I would not discount an upset. Afghanistan have some dangerous bowlers, so that's the game, and India are going to be watching that every single ball of that game. But I'm a bit nervous for India because obviously if New Zealand win, then India have got no chance of getting through. So I'm probably leaning towards no, not a Pakistan versus India final.
Yes, no, that's right. Well, hopefully, whatever happens, the two best teams, as we know, would hopefully make it through to the final, and then who knows from there. So, and look, his final question would be, going back to India, and of course, you spend a lot of time in India these days, probably know it far better than I. But from my point of view, I'm trying to get back over there as soon as possible, but I can't see that happening till mid next year at the very earliest. But I don't know. What sort of vibe or feel do you have, Mike?
Pretty similar to you, John. Not 100% sure when we're going to be able to get over there. I think I'm hopeful that the next IPL will be back in India, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that, whether it be back in the UAE. I guess the powers that be will make those decisions. But yeah, I'm a bit like you. I'm keen to get back over there as quickly as possible. A lot of it for Australians is, are we able to get back? That's been the issue. Now, I know Australia's starting to open up our borders again, which is fantastic, and hopefully people from overseas can get back to see their families, but also we're able to get back out, into the world and then be able to return to Australia safely. Because it's obviously been a really challenging time for a lot of people out there, and hopefully we're through the worst of it, and we can get out and about again around the world sooner rather than later.
Well, thanks, Mike. And Aksaj, there's a couple of responses to your questions, and hopefully we'll see some of the outcomes of that in the coming days. But also, Michael has got to dash off because, like Aksaj, he's got a young boy who's just about to go and play his game of cricket this afternoon or this morning, and Dad has to be the umpire, the scorer, the coach, getting the oranges, the whole works, and but at the same stage, not being Michael Hussey, the former cricketer, but just being Mike Hussey, the dad. So fantastic to have you on board, mate, and really appreciate your comments this morning and taking the time to join us.
No worries, John. Anytime for you, mate. Always my favourite coach. So I hope the show goes well. But looking forward to the cricket this morning. Should be a lot of fun.
All right. You take care and all the best, mate. Thank you.
On you, John.
Well, some really good insights again from Michael Hussey, and that session, that interview and the competition was brought to you by Launch Tee. We saw young Aksaj using the Launch Tees for both batting and fielding, and it's a wonderful Australian product. So look at the website to get more details on Launch Tee. But that's it for today. We're virtually waiting now to see the outcomes of the other group, where India are hoping that Afghanistan can get across New Zealand and that they can elevate their net run rate in their last game to then pass Afghanistan or New Zealand to make it into the semi-finals. Thank you for today. See you again very soon. Bye for now.